Mate, Ben Robert-Smith is going to be a topic of conversation this morning.
Yep.
I reckon he's screwed himself for the rest of his life by suing for defamation. What do you think of the situation?
It was one of those classic cases that was absolutely in the public interest, and so it needed to be reported.
Right.
And my colleague at The Age and the Sydney Morning Herald, Nick McKenzie, and Chris Masters, I think they did a fantastic job. They uncovered what needed to be investigated. Now there's going to be another process after this.
Yeah.
You know, there's an office of special investigator that can look further into it, and that's the right and proper thing to do. But the journalists did the right thing by chasing it down. And under defamation law, what else could we do except argue the truth defense?
I agree totally.
And so we ended up in this situation where you end up with a civil case turning into a war crimes trial, sort of a de facto war crimes trial. And there was clearly an opportunity to settle.
Look, I agree totally that this is an outcome of Ben Robert-Smith's own making. However, I was in upstate New York on September 11th.
Oh, sure, yeah.
The next day we drove past the smoking ruins in Manhattan to go back to my relatives in Virginia. And at the time, my view was, okay, we bomb the hell out of the Taliban and Osama bin Laden and everyone who was involved in this. Ben Robert-Smith was one of the Aussies who was engaged in the action in Afghanistan, and while I acknowledge that this is a matter of his own making, I regard him as an Australian hero, and in a way that I don't regard anyone who's going to be in the ABC today.
Look, I think he was awarded the Victoria Cross.
Yes.
His story is told at the Australian War Memorial. One of the things that I may say today, depending on how the program goes, you never always have the time that you think you're going to have to say everything you want. But I don't believe that he should be removed from the Australian War Memorial.
Okay.
However, I do think that what they tell about him should be expanded.
Indeed.
So they do tell what happened at this trial.
Indeed.
They have to tell both sides of the story. In a sense.
Reporters should tell both sides of the story.
And it's not a very easy thing to do.
Yeah.
Particularly when there's actually further investigation that's going to take place.
Things were done in Afghanistan that were awful, but as I said, my view was in the wake of September 11th and the refusal of the Taliban to hand over Osama bin Laden, then violent action had to be taken, and I totally supported the violent action that was taken. Osama bin Laden ended up holed up in Pakistan for a period of time. I was hoping to see Osman Faruqi this morning to ask him his view on how Osama ended up in Pakistan.
I don't think Osman's really, got a question to answer.
I very much appreciate your time this morning.
I better go.
And over the years, mate, Insiders isn't going to be here in future.
I will miss Melbourne.
Much appreciated, mate. Thanks. Bill Thompson for Outside Insiders. As I've said many times, I am very grateful to the panellists and politicians who are prepared to stop and have a chat with me outside Insiders. David Crowe spared me a lot of time, and it's very much appreciated. Bill Thompson for Outside Insiders.